Hello everyone, this is Ashton Ekbatani. I am a real estate broker and investor for last 17 years, being active and working in GTA. Sometimes the nature of my job would take me to different places such as Keswick, sometimes Hamilton or Kitchener-Waterloo. I have my guest invited today. Her name is Kim Boehlike, and she is a specialist mortgage agent working in the same neighborhood as well. Actually, she's licensed to work in Ontario. And there is not a single day that these days I'm receiving a call from someone said, what's happening with the market? Are we going to crash? Well, remember the fundamental is the same, supply and demand. So what are we looking at here is just what I call it a price adjustment. So if you see the price are dropping and you see the number of transactions reduced, is not because it is the end of the world. So I would say relax. You have to look at the numbers and the data. So let me invite Kim to join us. Kim, are you there?
I
Welcome,
am.
welcome to this
Thank
webinar.
you.
And what is your feeling with this crazy market? Do you get calls from your clients? They're worried. What's happening here?
Honestly, it's surprising that I don't get more calls about it, although I do try to put out a lot of information and sort of preempt any questions or any concerns. So not a lot of calls that way because I guess because I'm mortgages, right? I do mortgages. So it's more on the rate side. So anyone that is currently looking for a home right now, we're talking pretty often about what's going on.
Excellent. Just relying on the numbers that I gather from Toronto Real Estate Board, yes, the number of transactions in last year, April 2021, compared to this year was different. Surprising, we had less number of transactions happen this year by April than last year. It was busier market. That's why Toronto Real Estate Board declared that approximately 120,000 homes sold last year. Now, this year there are less homes in the market. Maybe the sellers are a little bit worried if they sell, where can they go with this price? So that's why we see a huge hesitation of let's wait, see what's going to happen tomorrow. Maybe if we sell, and remember at the same time, there were many multiple offers happening. So we used to get, let's say, 20 offers for one property. Now these days, in the middle of May, we get maybe two for that same property. So and remember, that is happening as the price bracket goes up. It means even today in the middle of May, we have multiple offers, but not on the most expensive homes, but just happening on the lowest benchmark of the properties, let's say around 700, 800. But
Right.
if the house looks beautiful, I guarantee you're going to have multiple offers on that property. Now, if you're talking about $2 or $3 million home, you might not get maybe one offer or no offers. Remember, right now, because of the situation, everything started with what we hear in the news, the war of Ukraine, and then interest rate went up. So all of this, people start thinking, what's going to happen? Should we wait? So there are a lot of speculators sitting on the line and on the fence, and they're watching, and that's why the market reacted. So, for instance, when we look at the numbers, let's say the number we have here for last year and this year, let's say 20% market shift. Everybody look at the numbers and they think we are talking about the price. It's not the price, it's the number of transactions. Now, actually, this year, the price compare, I have the information here, April 2021 compared to April 2022, the price went up. What we had as average price range for homes in 21 was 1,090,000. And this year, April 22 is 1,254,000. So in reality, price went up. Makes sense? Is that what you see?
Yeah, every time I see something about real estate being down, I always say, what's down? Is it the number of transactions or is it the price? And that's a really good point because the headlines are just made to grab your attention. And the worse the headline is, the more of your attention it's going to grab because that's how we're wired, right? We're wired for bad news. So that's a really interesting stat. If you had asked me, I would have said it would have been the same. I didn't realize it was up from I knew it was up, but I thought maybe it had come down a bit. So that's interesting. So you had mentioned Kitchener-Waterloo, Hamilton, you also obviously do Mississauga quite a bit, Toronto. Are you finding, like for me, I've been finding a lot of people moving out. You know, if they're in Mississauga, I just had helped someone buy in Chatham, outside of London. And they're working downtown. So there was two borrowers. One was able to get, his employer is totally on board with him working remotely. And the other borrower, actually, we didn't use their income, the other borrower. We didn't use it because we didn't need it. And in their case, they won't allow them to say that they 100% can work remotely. And that's a problem when you're getting as far out as Chatham, outside of London, Ontario.
Okay, so your activities can happen anywhere, right?
My activities?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I do mortgages. I can do mortgages across Canada, actually, through the Mortgage Center.
Oh, okay.
We have a yeah, but I've mostly done Ontario, like vast majority Ontario, and I've done one in Nova Scotia.
Since I have you here, this is a question I'm sure you ask. How the new generation can afford this kind of prices?
Yeah, so they're moving out. That's how they're doing it. And they're reducing their expectations. They're getting fixer-uppers, or they're like not something that says on the MLS listing, fixer-upper. You don't want that. But ones that have good bones and they're just gonna renovate it later. They're not gonna walk into a renovated place. So they're doing that. They're moving out, like Paris, Brantford, Woodstock, Kingston, Ontario. I helped people buy north of Kingston last year, a beautiful little town called Elgin. So yeah, they're moving out. They are getting gifts from parents, large gifts, 100,000 sometimes or more. You've got to do that and obviously have perfect credit and, really good jobs, right?
What's happening to a stress test? Is it still there?
Yeah, this is really getting to an interesting time, Ashton. So it's very weird right now because the stress test rate is 5.25. That's the rate that is used to qualify you with mortgages, right? But you can only use 525 if you're going with variable, because if you go with a fixed right now, it's in the 4s. Okay. And so once you get into the 4s, it's either the stress test rate of 525 or the rate plus 2. So if you go for a fixed rate at 4%, plus 2 is 6%. So now you're going to qualify for less with the fixed rate. So that's going to change. CIBC just raised their 5-year rates, their posted rate, to 5.79. So if the other banks start doing that, then the posted rate's going to go up, and then this variable strategy you won't even be able to use to qualify for more. So
how do you feel if the interest rate goes up again?
It's going to go up again in June as far as the Bank of Canada rate. But what's really hard for people to understand is there's really 2 rates. There's the 5-year fixed, like 2 major rates, the 5-year fixed and the 5-year variable. Variable is off of the Bank of Canada. That's going up June 1st, but it doesn't change the qualifying rate.
Okay.
And then the 5-year fix is from the bond market, which can move every day, every second of the day. The bond traders are trading bonds, and they can make that move, but they're going to make it move based on expectations of inflation. So we've already had a huge run up
Yes.
in the fixed, yeah.
Okay. Remember, if the interest rate goes up, the first thing it's going to affect is the mindset of the market. There's going to be a little bit of fear and doubt and fear of unknown. What's going to happen the day after? We've seen this up and down in interest rate back in 2017. So then at that time didn't really affect that much of the market. I'm talking about long term. I'm not talking about a week or two up and down. So the reality here is the market at the beginning of year 2022, we were having very, very strong sellers markets. Sellers were the king. From 1 to 10, I would say 10. Now, because of the news and everything we hear, that's a strong sellers market change and soften a little bit more, which allows the buyers to come back to the market and start rolling the economy. So now the buyers will, for a long time, are discouraged, gave up on the market. There's nothing we can buy. Now they find light at the end of the tunnel. Say, okay, let's go back. It seems the price is good. So the supply and demand market is getting balanced, and then we can see more transactions happen. This year, technically, I think we're going to land somewhere around 100,000, give and take, transactions happening in GTA. That's a good, healthy economy.
2022, how many were there in 2021? Do you know?
We were 120.
120, so just a little bit less activity.
A little bit less, but remember, we started the year with a less inventory in the market. All right. Now, this new policy, government's policy that came up, that affected the market. At least the psychology of the market was the first impact that we had.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the real estate market, listen, if you're planning on buying a house or selling the house, there are different style of strategy you have to use. You cannot always put your house on the market asking for multiple offers and keeping your ears set. What's happened in February? I want the same thing. It won't happen. You have to study the market. You have to be receptive to what's going on around you. Look at all the inventories of homes selling and buying. Look at the price and adjust your strategy based on what's happening with the market.
So if someone's thinking about buying, what questions would you be asking them?
Good idea. Right now is a good time because the price of most expensive homes are showing more flexibility. If someone is going to upgrade to a bigger home, it might be a good time right now for them to grab whatever they were wishing to get. I remember before it was not a question of listing price, it was rather the question of the selling price. So, for instance, a house was 1,200,000, you knew they would go for 1,400,000 or 5. Generally speaking. But now, because we see homes staying on the market longer, we know that the sellers are willing to negotiate. So we see more of a real price right now. The price that I would always say, the appraiser's price, not the buffer price. So right now, there is no price crashing real estate. It's just the buffer that we had for that few months. It just reduced to minimum it could be. So my suggestion to the buyers is a good time to buy. Just go back to the market, do your due diligence, investigate the right property for yourself, negotiate. This is the time of negotiation, and then get the house that you're looking for.
Yeah, and I think if someone is struggling to get the dollar that they need, the dollar that they'll approve for, there might be a bit of a strategy right now to be able to use that 5.25 rate that's not going to stick around. I'm talking about the stress test rate, the approval rate, not the actual rate of the mortgage. They can still, because that's going to go. We're going to lose that 5.25. I don't know when. If it'll be a month or 2 months or 3 months. But if things stay as they are, even even using the variable route is not going to get you the dollars that you need. So if you're really stretching to get what you need for your mortgage, doing it now and taking advantage of these softer,
Absolutely.
and maybe even get a condition of finance in there. Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm always recommending to my clients, if they could, put a 3 days, 5 days mortgage condition, that they're safer. So what I recommend them always to do when the buyer come to me is that, that's the first question. Have you looked into your mortgage, your finances? Yes, no. Go back. Give me a green light for what price range, and let's work it out around that price range. Don't jeopardize your finances. Don't take the risk. Right now, you can really go into the market, relax, and do your proper purchase. You agree with that?
Mm-hmm. Have you ever had clients that they told you they were pre-approved, but they weren't?
Oh yeah, they come with, we are confident we can get 1 million. Well, show me the proof, please. Remember, what I'm telling them serves them the best, because I don't want them to jeopardize their situation. The last thing you want to see is, whoops, we cannot put the mortgage together. And that's not desirable. That's when you work with the money, and we're not talking about a few dollars, we're talking about millions. So, and that affects the life of families, individuals, everybody in that circle. I don't like to go that direction. I always do the safest path for purchasing a property. Selling as well. Selling, you have to be careful what you're doing. You cannot overprice your house. Even a buyer might be interested to buy and pay that. Remember, a mortgage appraiser comes and, listen, this home is not worth it 2 million, it's worth it 1.5 million. Now, everybody's in trouble because the buyer cannot really finance it. And it's going to bounce back to the lawyer and to real estate agents, to the sellers, to everybody. It would affect everybody. That's where we see losses, and we don't want to see that. And that's why it's important for real estate agent, mortgage brokers, lawyers, home appraiser to do their job perfectly.
Yeah, and I find too that people sometimes don't realize, they think, well, if I can't get it done at the bank or a prime lender, I can get it done elsewhere. But sometimes they don't realize that elsewhere that I put together, I do prime lending as well, and I do banks, but that I also do alternative. But the difference between slightly alternative and deep alternative is huge. And you can have great credit, you can have great equity, and you can still end up with a really expensive product.
True. Also, remember,
if you do not have the income.
That's right.
Verifiable income.
The carrying cost of your mortgage is all very important. If you overpaying every month, it's going to break your back. That's
why I try to let people know right away, when we're having a conversation, that if the income's not there and they think, oh, it's okay, it'll be fine, we'll just figure something out. It's like, listen, well, do you know what you're going to get to? Because it can be not just a little bit alternative, it can be a deep alternative, and this is not where you want to be.
They might not appreciate you there, but later on down the road, they will really appreciate you.
But I can sleep at night.
Hey, same thing here. Kim, it was a pleasure talking to you.
Yes, you too. Pardon?
Do you have anything else to add? Oh, how all the people can get hold of you, just in case someone needs.
Yep. www.teamfinanceflo.ca. Team Finance Flow with no W.ca.
Excellent. And everybody knows my number, 647-407-4049. You can call me, you can text me, you can WhatsApp me. I'm always within reach, and I can help you here. And Kim, it was a pleasure having you today. And thank you for the vast knowledge that you participate and you share with us.
Thanks so much.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.